If you've always wondered on how to survive under pressure in competitive Age of Empires 2 multiplayer, then this video is exactly for you. It is the perfect demonstration on what to do if your opponent is up in your face from minute 1 of the game, and how you can still carry it all the way to the end and potentially win it. Here's the full game. Alright everyone, so here we go. This video is going to be a bit different. There are not going to be any edits, no cuts, no retakes, nothing. Just all one long commentary on a game that I think is really cool. And before we talk about what we're expecting to see here, I just want to say this game is the perfect example of how you survive under pressure in a typical mid-elo range game. So this is not a pro game, obviously. I'm playing this one. How could it be a pro game? We're playing at around 1300 elo here, and it is the perfect example why you do not want to resign straight away, even when it looks tough. So that's the matchup here. We are playing the Franks, and on the other side we're facing the Mongols, played by Pablo Isatha. I hope I said that right. So here in the blue on the left side of the map, we are playing Arabia, and can I just say it's a very hilly generation of Arabia. There's some big hills in the middle, there's some crocs here that's gonna make your life hard. Yeah, big massive hill here. And in general, you're going to see later, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to place additional town centers, because this game is going to get intense and we're going to cover the map. Let's talk about the matchup here for a second. So those of you who watch me on Twitch every now and then are going to know that currently I'm doing an A to Z challenge, meaning I want to get the best out of every civilization as per my ability. And right now I'm at the Franks for F. And yeah, it's been a bit of a tough one, I would say. So in my past games, I've struggled a bit with these guys because you need so much gold. Like, you need that map control, otherwise you are in trouble. And the actual potential of the Franks probably starts somewhere in Castle Age. Sure, you can put on a bit of a scout rush. Let's quickly look at the bonuses here. So your foragers work 15% faster, that's quite nice. So you go to the mill a bit early. The mill technologies are free, that's a fantastic food bonus. And then mounted units get plus 20% HP. So a bit of a Bloodlines replacement there. It gets better over time. For the scouts themselves, obviously Bloodlines would be better. Franks do not get Bloodlines, so there is a limitation there. But anyway, that's basically the Franks. You kind of want to get to Paladin ultimately in every Franks game. And the cool thing is castles do cost less in Castle and Imperial Age. And lastly, the Nightline gets +2 line of sight. And then there's a couple of unique techs that we'll get into later. But that's pretty much the setup. You kind of want to go for a cavalry play with the Franks. And that is my game plan here as well. So I want to open Scout Rush, so I'm trying to play fast feudal. And I think it's a pretty clean open, to be honest. I think if we keep an eye on idle TC time, it's not going to be bad at all. And what do we have on the other side here? So we're playing against the Arabia Civ, yeah, the best one that exists, I would say. The Mongols here. And our good friend Pablo, who's not a friend at all, I don't know him, but for the sake of this video, he'll be our good friend Pablo. He is playing the Mongols like a true Mongol player, as we'll see here in a second. He's not going for like a slightly faster uptime. No. He's gonna go 15 villages and up. So pretty much the fastest you can possibly do. Bit of a botch dealer here, but we'll see. He knows this build order. He's clearly prepped this before. Here comes Loom. He's at 15 villages and he's gonna go up. 5 seconds idle TC time, negligible. So he's gonna play this really aggressive. And this is what I like so much about this video, and which is why I felt like I have to share this with you guys. Because it is maximum aggression, and we all know it. When somebody is that aggressive and in your face all the time, you just feel like you want to resign quickly. Multitasking gets really tough, and you just want to give up. But that's exactly the point at this elo range. It's the same in chess, it's the same in every game when you're around this 1200, 1300 mark, where people have prepared strategies, but still execution sometimes isn't great. So you really should never resign early. Same in chess, same in AoE2. I don't know why I'm talking about chess. Let's get back to Age of Empires 2. So our friend here has clicked up already to Feudal Age. We're about 40 seconds behind, 2 villages up, but his pressure is going to come very early. And he's being very careful here for somebody who's clicking up that fast. Maybe he's expecting some sort of drush aggression, even though, as he can see, I don't have a barracks yet, so he shouldn't be expecting anything. Look at this, trying to trap the enemy scout like a pro, but then again I remembered I'm not a pro, so this clearly fails. My build is looking pretty clean as well. I've got 2 seconds of idle TC time. That is perfect. and idle eco time looking great as well. So what I'm prepping to do here, this villager is next up going to build a barracks, and then I want to drop a stable as soon as I can. Now I am already realizing here that against a Mongol player you kind of want to wall early, because he's definitely going to come pressuring you. And as we will see here in 8 seconds, that is exactly what he's planning to do. His build order is very clean as well. He does have a bit of idle TC time. That might be baked in though, I'm not entirely sure. And he immediately drops the stable, and at this point, I mean, we're at minute 8 in-game, right? So pressure is definitely going to come early on. He molests my barracks. This is very, very clever. He's obviously not going to get that kill, even though, hey, he's not far away from it. But the thing is, he delays my barracks, and that means he delays my stable or whatever my follow-up building is, and that's very problematic. Now, I make a huge mistake here. I would say this is one of the biggest mistakes I make in this entire game. I sent the weak villager back out. That was completely idiotic, but hey, making mistakes means you can learn something. So, you know, look at the bright side. Poor Hera, he can't learn anything, can he? I mean, all day long, he's just doing things perfectly. What can he do better? But anyway, so we get the barracks up with a bit of delay, which means our stable is delayed. So this is already everything a Mongols player can dream of. My quick walls here fail. I'm not Viper either. This is a terrible video. I don't know why I'm showing you guys this. It makes me look like a complete idiot. But anyway, it's worth it because it's good educational material. And we're going to start the stable here in a second. There it comes. And luckily, we're walling up quickly here. So this definitely was a good decision. I mean, that was a split second away from 2 scouts being in there. The opponent is playing the aggressive Mongol build here, kind of constantly pumping out scouts, himself walling up very tightly so he doesn't get any counter pressure. The game plan for the Mongol player here really is all events should happen at the enemy base, so at my base, at my poor little base here. So I can obviously see that now, that he wants to put maximum pressure, so I'm just walling in very tightly here as well, walling towards the TC. I already have a very good map here, I should say, to defend. Like, this is easy to wall, this is easy to wall. So actually this is quite promising to defend against his pressure here. But yeah, he just keeps on pumping, right? And I'm starting my first scouts as well. Remember, mine will be probably slightly stronger unless he has bloodlines on already, which he does not. Okay, so for the time being, I have a small advantage with my scouts, but obviously in terms of numbers, he has been up before me, so he'll always be higher than that. And nice one, we now get the walls up here. So yeah, it's going to get quite tough for the Mongol player to inflict any kind of damage in Feudal Age. And I kind of recognize that, so I don't want to overproduce here. I just want to keep it steady, get to Castle Age before him, and then hopefully pump out knights. Walls, I just have to be careful to keep repairing those, and that's what I do. And this is pretty much it. My base is fairly safe now, and these 2 scouts don't really need to do much. So I'm sending them forward towards the enemy base, so that it can do damage there. Here comes the crucial bit though. I thought that the Mongol player at this stage would be like, oh well, my scout rush didn't go anywhere. I guess I just take my foot off the gas now. And that's pretty much it. I relax and go into Castle Age as well. But no. A Mongol player wouldn't be a Mongol player if he didn't put even more aggression on top of aggression. So here it comes, he builds an archery range and he's massing archers. And that is a bit of a problem, because if you look at my base, we do not have very many safe woodlines here at all. With fletching, and even without fletching, you can reach most of them with a set of archers. And obviously archers also mean I cannot repair my walls anymore. And that means he'll eventually break through. So this is actually a big deal. And I haven't scouted this yet. And another big mistake, let's just switch to my view here for a second. Another bit of a mistake that I make is I do have 3 scouts in the field, right? But so far, they haven't seen any action. They're like, I don't know, Switzerland on the world stage of wars or something. They have an army, yes, but they're not doing anything, right? And this is basically my scouts here. Same situation, so not ideal, not good utilization. And here we see the beginning of some of my mistakes piling up. I have a bunch of idle villages here. If we look at the bottom right corner, this idle eco stat down here, now climbing up to 6.5 minutes, that is clearly not great. And this has been, by the way, one of my big struggles at the moment. So my best elo recently has been around 1400, and I was very chuffed with that. I was like, oh yes, I finally did it, and I watched my own educational videos, and then I got better because of them, and it was phenomenal. If you want to get better, go ahead and check them out, but after the video. And then I suddenly dropped. I dropped to like 1250, 1200, something like that, and I was like, this cannot be, right? Impossible. And then I realized, I started watching my own replays, and I realized, hey, there's 2 things that I consistently get wrong. Number 1, idle TC time. Number 2, idle eco time. And those are so basic that I started focusing on those again. And that is what made me win games again. And this is also what you're going to see in this game. I basically told myself, under all the pressure that you're going to see here, the one thing I want to get right is producing villages constantly and having them work constantly. Not garrisoned, not idle, Not running away, but working and constantly producing. Alright, but back to the game. I'm starting to use my scouts here in the same way that he's using his, just forcing up a few repairs, forcing some buildings, but the real action starts on this side now. I do not know what's coming here yet. I've seen no, I haven't even seen the archery range. God, that is a disaster in scouting terms as well. So he's looping around because he's hoping that something might still be open. He doesn't know about these two houses or these two here yet. So luckily he's wasting a lot of time. And if you're playing aggressively, the last thing you obviously want to do is wasting time. But that is exactly what's happening to our opponent now. Where he really wants to be is at a weak palisade gate, have the scouts kill the palisade, and the archers prevent any buildings going up right behind it. That's kind of the plan, but with all the looping around, obviously that doesn't happen, and I have a bit of time now. Now, in previous games, I'm just going to list all the mistakes I make here. Another mistake I made in previous games was the second layer of walls was way delayed, and I put them up way too late, such that the enemy could break in and then prevent the second layer of walls. I do not want to make that mistake again. I'm not even sure if I've noticed his archers by that point, but now I definitely do. And meanwhile, I'm still trying to break in here, or keep him busy, I should say. So, yeah, that's kind of the game plan, and I realize what's coming here now. The scouts are going to loop around, the archers are going to shoot whoever is trying to repair or build behind. So, what I'm going to do here next is put up a second layer of walls. Because you can see on my resource balance, I've just clicked Castle Age, so now it's a game of surviving for the next 2.5 to 3 minutes without the opponent disrupting my economy altogether. So I'm going for some quick walls, couple of gates, house and palisade. And we want to wall this off, right? We want to delay our opponent so that it takes him a lot of time to break through. So I think I'm having the right idea here. Again, a little bit too late. It would be ideal if they are up, because now the archers have direct range of my villages. And here is the key again. I do not want to lose villages. That is my one and only goal in this game. I want to keep... Well, that is unfortunate. But anyway, so I lost the villager there, no big deal, we keep going, and here's the problem, the gate goes down way too quickly. I did not anticipate it going down that quickly. At least I can keep out the scouts here and prevent the archers from circling around, because that would obviously be a disaster. Now this way, I have a safe wood line back here, and I'm just thinking, let's just put stones in this guy's way, right? That is my way to survival here. Retreat and put things in the way. That's pretty much the strategy. And already at this point, I thought, okay, honestly, it's kind of GG. How is this supposed to come back? I don't know. But we just keep on going. And so does my opponent, by the way. He has enough to click up to Castle Age now. He probably doesn't realize just yet. And I should just say, obviously, I'm not playing against the Viper here, or Hera, or anyone, right? I am still playing against a mid-tier player, around 1300, so they're gonna make plenty of mistakes. But this is kind of the point of this video, right? I'm not under the illusion that I can coach a 2000 plus player here, but definitely there's interesting stuff to learn here from players around 1300, for players at or below 1300. Because the point is, no matter how much aggression you have in your face, the opponent will still make mistakes, right? It's not going to be flawless execution from there. Don't get me wrong, if Pablo was Hera and we both started the game in this position, I have no doubt he would win, right? We could just end the game there, no doubt. But in reality, when you play in this elo range, people are going to make mistakes, and it's completely fair to wait for them to happen and just keep going until then. So what did we do here? We evacuated the front farms, because remember, we don't want to lose individual villages. We want to keep them alive and keep them working. And we set up another layer of blocking here, which means he has to go under the TC now, whichever way he goes. For some weird reason here, he retreats a bit. I think he's respecting my Castle Age time a bit too much, to be honest. So we have a bit of access to our gold, but okay, here he comes again. So in a second, we'll just go away again. And yeah, meanwhile, another small mistake that I'm going to make here. So I'm thinking, okay, his army is a bit too big here. He has 14 archers. I'm going to have 4, 5, 6 knights, and what do we have here? 3 scouts. That's probably not enough to really kill his army. But then again, I have the Castle Age advantage here, so I really should have made use of that time window when he is not Castle Age and doesn't have the upgrades yet, but I do. So I didn't do that. That was definitely a mistake. I kind of realized mistake here in a second and sent back all of my cavalry, but at that point it's a bit too late because the opponent has his eye on the ball. He's going for crossbowmen immediately while he keeps the pressure high. I realize my mistake right now, so I'm sending back my knights and my scouts to see if I can't inflict a bit of damage. Because let's be honest, 14 crossbows, 17 even now, that is going to be a bit of a problem. And yeah, so we're kind of ready for that. So here we have a big fight, but genuinely I can't take it because his crossbow upgrade just kicked in, Botkin with a bit of delay. And at that point my knights are no match anymore for his 14 now crossbows, for 15, 16, yeah. So that's quite tough. But again, the good thing is he isn't looping around. If he was looping around, he could inflict more damage. And you might ask yourself, why is he not looping around? Well, quick look at his base. He has been collecting stone. If you think this game hasn't been aggressive yet, well, you're in for a treat because it's going to get even more aggressive here in a second. He is coming forward. The good thing here is I'm having a bit of luck, right? My knights are basically running straight into him. Another thing, always attack ground when you're crossing the map with your knights, with your units. Otherwise, you're going to just pass them. And this is what's giving him the chance now to pull his archers this way. But the good thing is we're delaying him, right? Like, watch the eco KD here. I think we're going to get like 1 or 2 vills here. Yeah, 2 villages down. Okay, cool. That's going to delay his castle at least a bit. But this explains why he's been hanging around in the front here rather than looping around. What has happened here in the meantime? We've built a second TC. And this is going to be the core of our strategy, right? I'm a big fan of watching pro games, and especially Hera does this incredibly well. Where every time people are trying to hold down their main base, they lose villages over it, they lose their military over it. Him? No, not so much. He just keeps building backwards. And this is exactly what we're doing right here. We have a TC back here, gives us gold access, gives us wood, gives us a few farms. Instead of trying to hold down the farms here at the front and losing villages, he is dropping the castle here. That is a good castle spot. He's gonna reach the town center. I think probably with Bodkin he already does. And he can take stone here for a follow-up castle. So this is pretty good. On the other side of the map, a lot of things happening right now. We're trying to break in here, because we figured we can't really fight a castle with 10 knights or something. But what we can do is break into his base and get a few eco kills. And this is going to be vital, because we're looking at the eco count up here with 45 to 51, even though he is the one putting on the aggression, right? That is always a fantastic sign. He's going on a few camels here now. Great choice to defend against my knights, but I think they have 0 upgrades so far. So actually not that threatening. Let's quickly look at the other side here. The castle does reach the TC, so this TC is on a timer. What have I done in the meantime? The Hera strategy. We just build backwards. Survive. Do not lose villages. With all this pressure so far, I've only lost 3 villages, right? That's quite crazy. And when I realized myself, I was like, hey, I am still in this game, right? There's no reason to resign just yet. The problem here is obviously his 2 TCs reach the entire village that he has, but I invite you to take a look at the idle economy time down here. He's at almost 40 minutes. His TC idle time is above 4 minutes. Well, mine is catching up. But again, he's the one putting all the aggression, right? So we shouldn't be idling his economy at all. He wants to keep all fights in our village, and so far he's not succeeding with that. Instead, we've caused him major idle time. We're up 10 villages right now. Of course, our military count is down because we just lost our knights in there. But still, I think the dive was worth it because his economy is way behind now. And hey, we're pumping out of 3 TCs. Sure, this one's going to go down soon, but still, it's there, right? So we want to keep going. The other thing is, I kind of realized my knights pick here isn't going to do much because I'm not going to get to numbers very quickly. However, if I just go full skirms at this point, that kind of counters his army because the camels have no upgrades yet. Still don't have upgrades yet. So the skirms actually kind of do fine if I have enough of them and if I have elite skirm and all the upgrades. And the archers are obviously going to die to skirms. And all I need to do here is hold, right? The enemy is playing an aggressive game. If I can get my economy up and running, even if it's in weird locations like that, that is completely fine. Remember at the beginning of the game I talked about hills, so this is a classic example. Massive hill here, and it's really hard to place TCs. Originally I wanted to place a TC here, doesn't work because of the hill. I cannot place TCs down here anywhere. I can't go here, and this is a bit far again, and it doesn't have any gold nearby. So it's a real problem, right? And again, we want to keep some of the army of our opponent at their base, so I'm just trying to annoy him a bit with a couple of knights. And here I thought again, oh crap, he's found my backwards TC. He's gonna put pressure on that. I don't have enough skirmishes yet. This is a massive problem. I'm probably gonna die here, right? We're on our way to GG. We take a quick look at the score as well. I lose 1 villager here. Again, not too bad for being surprised by a bunch of crossbows. But yeah, what I wanted to say here is we briefly take a look at the bottom right stats. With 3,700 to 3,200 in points. That is not great, and once again we have a lot of walking time here with the villagers. But again, to flag, right, the opponent doesn't know what we've done. They probably think that we have 1 TC here and that's pretty much it. They haven't spotted what's on this hill yet. They don't know that we're on 2 TCs still. Right? We are pumping. We're still 10 villages ahead. We're still going. I'm not sure he has ballistics. No, he doesn't have ballistics yet, which is a bit of a mistake with that many crossbows. But hey, he's under pressure, right? He's playing an aggressive game. He's not swimming in resources all the time. And a bit of a problem that we have here, we again get pushed off our farms. Good thing is we have Frank's bonus, and we've been collecting stone down here, so we have the opportunity for a castle. But, oh my god, it's as if he was stream sniping it. He knew exactly that our castle was going to go up here. He obviously didn't, but he was checking the back of the base, which is very clever. And I'm like, oh damn, GG, that's a doubt castle. Well, I guess this is definitely GG then, because I'm pushed off my gold, I'm pushed off all my farms here. And again, my principle is keep the villagers working as much as you can. Even with all this pressure going on here, we have 2 idols and we're trying to keep them working. Obviously, as we're luring the camels into the TC, we're quickly garrisoning them. That makes sense. And you can see here, these camels still don't have any upgrades, and our skirms are actually doing decent damage against them. We're pushing back the crossbows here again. But my assumption here is this TC space is kind of lost, because he's just going to keep pumping units, and that's going to be that. So what did I do? I placed another TC. Oh, genius, right? Just playing the Hera style, because I wanted to see how far can I push this, right? How long can I keep going, just back building TCs and pumping out villages all the time? We can see we've lost quite a few now, because his pressure is obviously huge. And if you lose 12 villages and you're behind in 700 points, and 2 of your TCs have basically been denied already, you usually resign, right? But I'm telling you, do not. Just persevere and keep building villages. That's the key bit by this strategy. Is working, or it looks like it might be working. Don't want to spoil the ending. Would be quite a shit story if at the end of the day I just lose. But anyway, a little bit of a teaser there. I might win this one. But the key to doing so is simply just build villages. Keep it pumping. Because the thing is, if you think about Age of Empires over the course of a game, right? The opponent might get an early lead, its snowballs get bigger and bigger and bigger, but there is a cap, because there's a 200 population cap in the game, right? Beyond a certain point, your opponent can't get any better. And at that point, you can play catch-up. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. Yes, the opponent is ahead, but we want to catch up as the game progresses. We're taking a very good fight here. I really don't think you should be fighting that. And honestly, kind of every fight that happens away from our eco is a win. Just automatically for us, because we want to keep our economy going under pressure, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Again, bit of a problem here. Obviously, his knights counter my skirms, so I have to lure him into the TC, which means I have to idle a bit, which is not my game plan. But okay, we do it. The other cool thing is he never checks this stone down here, so we can just keep on taking stone and again and again and again. And the cool thing with that is obviously we can build TCs, we can build a castle here. I'm not entirely sure about the location of this castle, to be honest. I was just scared of knight raids and all the like, because if this falls, then I'm genuinely dead, right? There's nothing more I can do, so I definitely have to secure that area. I should also mention, excuse me, that's what happens when you do everything in one take. The opponent obviously has enough stone to drop another castle here, but I think he's just a bit too busy. I'm trying to surprise him with a couple of knights down here, but pretty much to no avail, and the aggression just keeps on pumping. Here comes the big stable, and yeah, honestly, I have no idea what kind of position I'm in right now, because yeah, I'm not entirely sure how much pressure is coming. I don't know how big his economy is. I don't know how many villagers I killed in comparison to him. Obviously, all these nice KD stats you do not have in-game. But here we go. I place a castle near to the gold, because I'm thinking this space for some reason is still standing, right? Had he added a bit of siege before that, like 1 or 2 mangonels just to shoot my skirms, I probably would have been dead. But again, we're playing 1300 elo, and probably so are you, right? Most of you watching, I think usually the peak on the elo bell curve is around 1100 or something. So just keep on going. Your opponent is not gonna play a perfect game. All you need to do is persevere and then make use of their mistakes. And obviously the other thing is about aggressive games, right? Why do so many games in Age of Empires Arabia end so early on? And I'm not talking about pro games, I'm talking about the average game. It's usually because aggression is intimidating, right? It's like in the playground when you get bullied. I don't go to playgrounds anymore, I don't have kids and I'm a bit too old. That would probably be very weird if I was there. But anyway, you get it. If there's a bully in the playground, it's not even clear that he would win the one-to-one fight, right? But it's all that display of aggression that makes you go like, oh, GG, right? Easy, well played, right? You just back out. But that we don't want to do in this elo range, because people are not going to play the aggression perfectly, so we just want to persevere and don't resign early. So that's exactly what we're doing here. We're securing the gold here. We're obviously going into pikes, because, man, our opponent is Mongols here, so he has a lot of cavalry options. Pikes are usually not going to be a terrible pick. Ultimately, the idea that I'm having right now is pretty much, the opponent is Mongols, he might go cavalry archers, so usually with Franks, as I said at the beginning, you just want to get into Paladin and that's it, right? But Paladin is incredibly expensive to get to, and it takes a lot of time, and the opponent clearly wants to end this game as soon as he possibly can. And we've got another engagement here. I'm not sure it's a great one. Again, my goal kind of is to just keep the opponent away from my base. I probably should have taken that fight, to be honest. I don't have any of the important upgrades in on my pikes yet. And here comes the opponent's castle. And again, at this point, I'm thinking, oh well, he's gonna deny that gold. That is kind of shite. So let's see if I can delay his castle. I'm under no illusion here that I can keep him from building that castle. I just want to delay it a little bit. And so I attack this one in the hopes that, yeah, we can buy ourselves a bit of time, because obviously he has a nice hill bonus there versus our castle. I placed mine down here to secure the gold, but we're definitely going to lose this spot for now. What happens here, down here, we're placing another castle, because again, I'm thinking I want to protect this area of my base. I cannot have raids coming in this way. And here I'm taking a bit of cheeky gold as well at the bottom. So really just trying to be everywhere at the same time and taking resources where possible. And we want to look at our Vil count, 103. And by the way, I just clicked Imp. If you had told me in minute 15 of this game that I would get to Imp in this game, sustainably, I would not have believed you. Anyway, he's finishing that castle here, and ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see his vision once again. I think he thinks he has me in a stranglehold down here. He has no idea about all of this. And that is the beauty of just building yourself backwards, because the opponent is not going to be phenomenal at scouting. It's not Hera, it's not Viper, it's not ACCM. If this was ACCM, the game would go 4 hours probably. Hopefully it won't go that long, I promise. You can already see in the YouTube timeline, it isn't that long. But anyway, we keep going here. We have a nice fortification up here. And at this point I'm thinking the opponent is probably going to go on knights and on crossbows, apparently, for good. What's a good unit against that? I'll just go throwing axemen. Because with the throwing axemen and a bunch of skirmishers, I should counter pretty much everything he's doing here. Our pikes take out the knights, and then we'll just see where we go from there. And also the throwing axemen as a unit, when they don't have any upgrades, they're not that great, to be honest. I haven't made fantastic experiences with them. But once you've upgraded all of them, they are pretty good. And honestly, at this point, again, I thought, okay, the game's probably over here. Because he found my little installation up here. I'm running out of wood there soon, so I'm gonna have to go to the back here. This is still wide open. My gold villages here exposed. It's not a great position to be in. But then again, I figured, hey, let's just stonewall a bit, limit his mobility options, and again do the same thing as always. I'm trying to save as many villages as I can. Obviously, I don't want my throwing axemen to run into his crossbows, so I'm navigating those around. And I'm just trying to kind of save my economy here, because if he's here with a bunch of crossbows, that's a real weak spot of my base right now. And so I really want to avoid that. I'm getting elite throwing axemen. Actually, my economy is solid here, right? As unbelievable as it is, we're at 110 villages, and my economy works, right? And at this point, again, I'm really scared, because if those villages get discovered, that might be GG. That's easily 15 vills that he could have picked off there if his scouting was a bit better. But hey, we keep on going. And again, this is a real misplay from him. And take a look at the resource balance he has as well, right? He's on the way to Imp. He has 2,000 wood. He has 1,000 food in the bank. And we easily take out his rams here. I lose a bunch of axe throwmen because I am not paying a lot of attention to them, which is definitely a mistake. But again, I want to point out the other thing about the bully in the playground usually is they're way overconfident, right? They don't play with as much discipline. Look at our resource balance, right? Nothing more than 300 here. Very rare that it crosses the 300 line, as you'll see, and boom, again, everything under 100. Whereas the bully in the playground thinks he has the higher ground anyway. Maybe I'll relabel this video to bully in the playground. But one important thing I want to point out here at this point, when you're playing Franks, you need gold, right? You need map control. So in that sense, kudos to our opponent, because he's doing exactly the right thing as a Mongol player, right? He's trying to keep the map control in his camp. He's trying to prevent us from expanding. That's why the aggressive castles, that's why the early pressure. But for some reason, he still lets us go here. And that is another crucial moment where I was like, this is surely never going to work. But hey, it did, right? He lets us take that gold, and soon enough, we'll go to stone as well, so that we have enough stone to place another castle and secure those locations. We're first in Imp. He is now an Imp as well. We already have the first treb in the field. We put it up here to have the high ground somewhat on his castle here and not shoot from below, and see if we can't take out that castle. At this point, stats are looking pretty good, right? Look at the score. Remember when we were 600 points behind? We're at 8,200 versus 6,900 right now. And it's looking pretty solid, right? I'm getting a bit of additional vision here because I am really scared that he's just gonna bounce on me and, yeah, take out these villages at my new gold reserve. That wouldn't be great. And here we go. We're taking the stone as well, and then soon enough we'll hopefully place a castle up here. But for now we're fighting the fight here. He went to Arbalest, absolutely natural choice. We kind of expected that. And our game plan right now is to take out the Arbalests with the skirmishes and use the throwing axemen as our really bulky, attacky unit. I mean, look at the stats down here. That's pretty solid. 10 damage. They've got 6 range. That is a really strong unit by now. We're still missing the last 2 upgrades from Imperial Age. Can't quite afford those. And we took out this castle here. I mean, unbelievable, right? And at this point, I would say the game has really somewhat turned. I'm a little oblivious as to how fragile his base is here in the back. I mean, that's just so open for raids. It's crazy. But hey, he is the aggressor, right? He doesn't have his guard up. That's his main problem. And now his tech choice, I don't think it's the correct one. He goes into heavy scorpion. I think if he had used more of his mobility options, it's quite odd, I think, as a Mongol player to go for probably one of the slowest units. And look at this, it's a massacre. This is how you deal with bullies, ladies and gentlemen. And here I gotta be careful. I don't want his Arbalests to just kill all my throwing axemen, so I need to reshuffle here, have the skirmishers attack, and the axemen just loop around. Basically, these guys are here to keep the Arbalests busy, right? And then the axemen can do the rest of the job. I do not know that he has so much weak villages back here, or exposed villages. I just kind of go for it because I'm assuming, and hey, this works nicely. His Arbalests are way, way far away from the action. And the thing about heavy scorps is also throwing axemen will be excellent at killing those. So I'm not really worried about that at all. I don't think I've even seen the first one yet. The problem is obviously if we have too many of them against my skirmishers, that is a really big deal. And back here, I mean, it's just... It's a fest now, right? I can just feast on enemy villages here. It's quite crazy. We're well leading, right? We're putting up a castle where he just had his. Our trebs are advancing. This is looking really solid. A bit sloppy on the skirmishes here, and I was missing chemistry up until now, which benefits my skirmishes for sure, and I think the throwing axemen? I'm not even sure if chemistry affects throwing axemen, but we'll see that here in a minute. This is a bit of a problematic fight, obviously, but hey, I'm getting so much value. Look at the eco KD. 62 to 21. How beautiful is that for somebody playing against a super aggressive Mongol player? This is what revenge looks like, people, right? And look at that. This base still standing. This base still standing. I'm using some of the farms that were back here. We utilize them again. We have access to our gold again here. And now we're going to stables because we kind of realized, hey, the opponent is wide open. We can just go into light cav, spam those, get the unique tech from the Franks that makes the stables work faster, and then spam his entire map with light cav. We have him by the proverbial, you know what I mean, right? So yeah, this is looking pretty good. My only goal now is really to protect the trebs while I start taking out his entire housing economy. To be fair, I didn't know about this one, but what does it matter? We have the GG in the chat. I say GG. I say what a game well played. I think at that point the opponent already exited the game because clearly this wasn't fun for him to lose it like that. But hey, this game, I just wanted to show it to you guys because what a fantastic example of never surrendering when you're under pressure. Always survive under pressure if you do this, right? The formula is simple. Keep producing vills, don't lose villages, and keep expanding backwards. That is kind of the whole formula. If you're in Pablo's position, how could he have done better? In my opinion, my very humble opinion, as you can see, 1300 player here. I think he just, if he had scouted a bit better, he would have seen my expansion attempts way earlier. And this way, I couldn't have done them at all. Literally just 3-4 archers chilling around the back to make sure that I can't expand any further. I think at the point where I didn't contest his castle position here, he could have easily done that. And then simply, I cannot expand. And the other thing is manage the resource balance. That was a key feature throughout this game. He was drowning in resources, but he didn't do much with them because I think he had me. I think he thinks he had me. That's kind of the story. And well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this game entertaining. I'm working on another video at the moment, which will be all about Arabia. I'm just waiting for a website to be back up that's going to provide me a bunch of really cool, interesting stats. And then that's going to come next. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I am excited to see you around for the next one. Ciao.